If 70% of your revenue comes through Facebook ads, let me tell you something you don't want to hear. You have a gambling addiction, not a business strategy. And just like a gambler who's winning right now, there's one thing you're ignoring that's very important. The house always wins. I've watched brands doing multi-six figures a month through Meta go bankrupt overnight. I've seen it happen time and time again, and it's pretty scary when you think about it. The main reason for this is because they put all their eggs in one basket. And in this video, I'm going to explain why it's very important for you to diversify. And I'm very confident that this is going to be an eye-opener for many of you guys. So this is going to be a very powerful presentation for a lot of you guys. So make sure you have a pen, paper, make sure you take notes. So here's the uncomfortable truth about platform dependency. Like I've said, if 70% of your revenue comes from one advertising platform, you're not running a business, you're gambling, right? Deep down, you already know this, you just haven't admitted it yet. Because the truth is, you're getting results right now, you don't care about future obstacles, but they always do come. Here's the denial pattern that everyone follows. It's working right now, so I'll deal with diversification later. I know I should add Google, but I'm too busy scaling Facebook. I'll diversify after Q4. I'll look into it when I hit X goal. Right? That sounds familiar. Trust me, I've been there many times and a lot of people deal with this as well. But that's exactly what gamblers say. I'm up right now, so I'll quit after this hand. But it never happens. That's the truth. Here's the brutal truth, right? If one algorithm change can destroy your business, you don't have a business. You have a vulnerability disguised as a strategy. Now, this is very important because we both know that algorithm changes and external unexpected things happen all the time in business, especially in e-commerce. Here's a very powerful analogy. I call it the airbag analogy. And you can apply this to business, to life, to everything. But in this context, let's apply it to business and e-commerce, right? So would you drive with only one airbag? Of course you wouldn't. That's insane, right? Modern cars have front airbags, side airbags, curtain airbags. When you crash, you need protection from multiple angles. So why are you running a business with only one traffic source? When you crash, and you will crash, trust me, you will, what's going to protect you? That's very important for you to consider. Here are some real stories that, we've experienced. I know you've probably experienced or heard of. A major one was the iOS 14.5 update a few years ago. So literally one iOS update destroyed so many people's businesses, right? So many small businesses. Why? Because tracking went to shit. Everything became a mess, right? And I know people, some of my friends, they were doing 100K months consistently, but they went to zero in weeks. And it wasn't because of their marketing strategy or their skill set. It's because of this massive update that completely just, encapsulated their performance and just took over everything, right? Another thing that we all know about, we see it every single day, is Facebook ad account bans. You can literally wake up tomorrow. I remember this happened to me in 2021 clearly, doing multiple 5-figure days, crushing it, right? This was in November as well, peak of Q4. You can wake up tomorrow with zero access to your ad account. No warning, no explanation, no resources. And we both know Facebook ad support is terrible. Here's an example as well, another example. An 8-figure brand lost access for 3 months, nearly went bankrupt and had to lay off a team. Like, this is the extremes that it goes to, right? And I'm sure that you've probably heard some crazier stories than this or the story I just shared with you. Another one is Meta outages. So simple question, when Facebook goes down, what happens to your revenue, right? If you're reliant just on Facebook for your revenue, then, you don't have a business, because when it goes down, guess what? Now your supply of revenue is gone. So, it stops completely. And really and truly, you're just gambling at that point. And another thing that we're all seeing is just rising costs on Meta. CPCs increasing, CPMs, a lot of competition, a lot of new people coming into the market. So how long do you think you can sustain that on just that one platform? The brands that survived had backup airbags. They were bruised. iOS 14.5 hit them hard, hit many of us hard. Revenue dropped. But if these brands had Google, email, SMS as backup systems, trust me, they wouldn't be as affected as somebody that's completely Meta reliant, right? And, whilst 100% of dependent Meta brands collapsed, diversified brands survived the crash and emerged even stronger. So this is the importance of diversifying into things like Google, email, SMS, TikTok, influencers, organic. There's so many different avenues you can take it down. The only question isn't if you will crash, it's whether you will survive when you do. Very, very important. This is a nice visual example of what anti-fragility looks like and the airbag strategy in a visual format. So typically 50% of the pie will be Meta ads, right? That's typically where most of your spend will go, most of your revenue will come from. But like I said, 50% should be the cap. Anything above that, you need to really audit your business. 30% will be Google. Google is just the second no-brainer option to go for, right? It just prints. It's one of the best platforms to be on and one of the most stable and consistent platforms to be on. Typically, this will be 30%. And then other channels, TikTok, you can have email, SMS, organic stuff. You can do like little things like Reddit marketing, Pinterest. There's so many different avenues depending on your niche and your product. Typically, this will account for 20%. Look, I'm not here trying to scare you. I've personally built my own brand, 7 figures. I was doing consistent consistent 6-figure months, everything was going great. But a VAT law completely outside of my control took my business from happy days, scaling, making a lot of profit to zero. And that was the biggest wake up call I've had in my career so far. I've created a free platform risk assessment that really exposes where your business is at risk. So make sure you book a call with me today, and I'll be more than happy to audit your business, audit your ads, and really, help you become aware of the leaks and help you really just galvanize and build a very strong moat around your business, because this is ultimately what's gonna make you build an asset that just stands the test of time, which is the most important thing in business: longevity. Here's the maths of resilience. Now, I really want you to run these scenarios. Scenario 1, you have 100% dependency on Facebook. Now, let's say you're doing 10K days consistently, 100% of it coming through Meta, right? Now, let's say now your ad account gets banned. What does that mean? 100% of your revenue is lost. Can you survive that for 3 months? Can you even survive that for a few days? Because typically it takes some time for you to get back up and running, right? Even if you have an agency account or if you have strong backups. Like, I know people that have agency accounts and they still deal with BS all the time. Scenario 2, which is way more positive, you have diversified traffic. So 50% is Facebook, 30% is Google, 20% is other platforms. Facebook gets banned. Okay, cool. That's only 50% revenue loss as opposed to 100%, right? But guess what? You still have Google making you money and you have other platforms making you money whilst you deal with Facebook. And you're just living to survive and to see another day in the game of business and e-commerce. This is why Google Ads has to be your second airbag. Facebook is great for demand creation. It's really good for tapping into cold traffic, top of funnel traffic, right? You're interrupting people scrolling through cat videos or doing whatever they're doing on Facebook, right? So you're really just creating demand with your creatives, with solutions that people aren't even aware of or products that they're not even aware of, right? So it works great, but you're competing for attention consistently and all the time. Google, however, you're capturing intent. You're capturing people actively searching. That's what makes it so powerful, and that's why I've stuck with it for so many years. And that's why, I've made a lot of money with it, and for the most part, it's way more profitable than Facebook because of the intent capture, right? It's very, very important. People are actively searching for your product. That's the biggest difference. Now, when somebody wants to buy something, where do they go? They always go to Google, right? Every single time. Higher intent, better conversion rates, more predictable outcomes. So here's the beautiful thing about Google Ads, right? It's very stable and very predictable. And I've been doing this for 6 years, and trust me, I haven't seen any chaos or mayhem like I see on Facebook. There's no algorithm chaos, right? That's very, very important. Facebook all the time, just BS updates, right? Another thing is it's consistently profitable. In the beginning, yes, it's a bit slower than Facebook, but once you have it up and running and have a very strong system in place, trust me, it just prints consistently and it's very scalable. And I think most importantly is just that peace of mind. You're just at a point where you have a reliant traffic source. Every single day when you wake up, Google is expected to make this amount at this spend, and you're really able to scale it aggressively as well. With Facebook, however, you just don't know what to expect, right? Let's be honest. And here's my personal proof. And this is why I'm always talking about Google Ads. I feel like a lot of people look down on it. A lot of people just view it as a remarketing channel, which is completely BS. I've done basically 7 figures in revenue in 12 months, right? I scaled my own brand using Google Ads, purely Google Ads, after failing with Facebook ads for 2 years. I've tried Facebook ads when I first got started in e-commerce way back in 2017, 2018. Facebook ads didn't work. And then I made a switch to Google Ads, right? And of course, now I've been making money online for 6 years now. I'm good at Facebook ads. I really understand it. But way back then, Facebook wasn't working. So I was like, you know what? Let me try Google. Or another reason as to why I'm very confident is I've generated over $10 million in sales, right? For clients and for my own brand. So this was just one of my brands. I've worked, with a few other brands as well that I've done well in. And, 10 million plus generated only through Google across multiple niches, the weirdest AOVs, but it consistently prints. And I'm confident and I'm grateful to say I've had a 99% success rate. Most brands, like I always tell people, if your offer's trash, if you're selling something that's just like BS, don't even bother booking a call with me, right? But I can instantly know once I see somebody's brand and I see their product, I instantly know that this is going to print in Google. And my success rate is very, very high because why? I understand the algorithm. I understand how to set it up from the beginning and how to optimize it, how to scale it, how to kill it, right? It's very important. A lot of people don't know how to do this. They just know how to do your typical BS settings, SOP related shit. Here's how to start building your second airbag. Step 1, assess your risk honestly. And let's be objective, right? Try not to get your emotions and feelings involved. Just be objective. What percentage of revenue is coming from one source? If it's over 70%, you have a problem. Step 2, get your Google Ads foundation right. This is very important, right? So you want to have a very clean GMC, optimize the feed correctly. You want to have a very, very strong account structure, non-brand and brand separated, which is very, very important, right? A lot of people just mix everything and then they complain as to why their results are BS. And then obviously conversion tracking just has to be set up, right? Like ignore these things. You can ignore that. If conversion tracking isn't set up correctly, then like what's the point? You're not even looking at data correctly, right? So don't skip these steps because this is literally 90% of success with Google Ads. Step 3, you don't need to do anything crazy. Start with with 10-20% of your budget. I typically recommend anywhere between $50 to $100 a day with Google, but just get started. Trust me, it will yield you great results in the future. And most importantly, work with real experience, right? You need someone who's risked their own money, survived the crash, understands the terror, and has a solution. Not just theory, but real experience. Because a lot of people, they just rely on theoretical stuff. You can go on Reddit threads, ask ChatGPT, go on blogs. The theory sounds sexy, it sounds so smart, but I can guarantee you, I've applied a lot of these theoretical things, and a lot of them don't even work. That's the irony. And that's the same with Facebook ads as well. A lot of these theoretical things, you can try them out, but they don't work. It's all about practical experience, right? What have you done? What's the feedback loop? How have you iterated? What have you learned? And just keep that process going. So honestly, the choice is yours. You can keep gambling. You can keep staying 100% reliant on Facebook, on whichever platform you're on, and just relying on hope and faith, right? Or you can build resilience. You can diversify your traffic sources, build a very strong moat, have a very strong airbag around your business so that when obstacles do come, you're bulletproof. It's not going to affect you, right? And ultimately, you have an actual business, not just a one platform make money scheme, right? You actually have a business that's not relying on any of these platforms. If 70% of your business is dependent on one platform, and you know what, here's the bottom line. The question shouldn't be if I should double down on this. The question should be, what am I going to do about it? And what's the next step for me to really build out a strong ecosystem for my brand? You can keep gambling and hoping, relying on hope and faith. Or what you can do is build a very strong airbag that will stand the test of time, stand the test of obstacles and external BS that happens all the time in business. If you're ready to stop gambling and build an anti-fragile system, make sure you book a call with me today. I'll really show you the power of Google Ads and how it fits into your business. And I'm very confident that you'll gain a lot of value through that call. I've generated over $10 million in sales over the past few years. And I've had my own brand that done 7 figures in 1 year just to go bust because of the things I've discussed in today's video. So trust me, I know and I have a lot of experience about these things. The truth is, I'm not looking to scale and become a massive agency. That's not my interest. That's not what I want to do. I only onboard 2 new brands at a time, and I'm a big believer in quality over quantity. I really want to give each client the attention they deserve, because that's just the truth. A lot of these agencies, what they do is you'll speak to the main guy, they'll just dedicate your account to VA or media buyer, and you'll never hear from the main guy again, right? So honestly, you're just relying on SOPs. Book a call. Let's build a second airbag today.